Hello viewers, let us first of all allow us to pay heartfelt homage to the great souls murdered by Pakistani terrorists in Pahalgam area of Kashmir, India. As already stated in the past, we have our clear stand that Pahalgam terrorist attack is a clear example of continuous irresponsible attitude of Modi government's policy on its home security, ranging from low deployment of forces to the low recruitment of security forces. Irresponsible parameters of Modi government is a big list which we can debate hours and hours directly with pro-Modi setup. Today we find energy of great Indian security forces suppressed by present Modi government because from the day of Pahalgam incident Pakistani forces have continuously warhead attacked on Indian soil. But the Operation Sindoor missile attack conducted from Indian side is way below the capabilities of Indian forces. Thus we assume Modi government seems less in the mood to revenge and hence ask to do some whitewash just to satisfy the political compulsions. Anyways friends, let's return to our original discussion. As you already know, we do in-depth research on important issues happening around the world. Continuing this commitment to factual, bold reporting and expanding your knowledge, today our research team is presenting a critical and urgent investigation. The global threat posed by Pakistan's nuclear weapons and its grooming of terrorism. Yes, you heard it right. This report will expose why the world must reconsider whether Pakistan deserves to remain a nuclear-armed state. With decades of instability, terrorism, black market proliferation, and irresponsible military control, Pakistan has proven time and again that it is not fit to possess nuclear weapons. So friends, we request you to watch this research-based report patiently and completely, because the facts we are about to present affect not only South Asia, but the peace and stability of the entire world. Pakistan became a declared nuclear-armed state in 1998, testing its bombs right after India did. Since then, it has quietly built a stockpile that most experts estimate is on the order of 150 to 170 warheads today, and still growing. Unlike most other nuclear powers, Pakistan never signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty or the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, and it keeps its nuclear facilities mostly off-limits to international inspectors. In practical terms, that means no one outside of Islamabad really knows the exact size of its arsenal or the details of how it's stored and secured. Independent analysts at the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists estimate Pakistan's weapons could approach 200 warheads within a few years given current trends. Meanwhile, photographs and satellite imagery of new missile launchers and military bases indicate that Pakistan is actively developing new delivery systems. Everything from short-range battlefield nukes to longer-range ballistic missiles, and even plans for sea-based deterrence. In short, Pakistan's arsenal is expanding and diversifying, and it's happening in a cloak of secrecy. That secrecy has already been dangerous. The very founder of Pakistan's bomb program, scientist Abdul Qadir Khan, infamously ran an international nuclear smuggling network in the 1990s. He secretly sold nuclear centrifuge designs, bomb blueprints, and missile technology to countries like Iran, Libya, and North Korea. In other words, key technology that helped those countries move toward nuclear weapons once flowed from Pakistan's program. The Khan network wasn't a one-off. It took years for governments to even discover the full extent of what he'd done. This illicit proliferation legacy means a huge amount of Pakistani nuclear expertise and material got out into the world, completely beyond any oversight. It was an unprecedented breach of international norms, and it came straight from Pakistan's scientists and engineers. Even after the Khan scandal surfaced, Islamabad had to promise, "We will never again let anyone transfer nuclear technology to any country," and they say they tightened control in the years since. But that episode alone shows how loose the system was. a single insider was able to smuggle weapons-grade secrets across borders. Meanwhile, Pakistan is also unique in how it handles its own weapons for deterrence. Unlike India's stated no first-use policy, Pakistan maintains an asymmetric doctrine. In practical terms, Pakistani strategy allows for a rapid first use of nukes in the event of a conventional attack or other crisis. Military planners in Islamabad worry about India's conventional advantages and believe they must respond immediately with nuclear force to even the odds. American experts like Vipin Narang warn that this kind of doctrine, letting lower-level commanders actually launch a nuclear strike if they see fit, makes the situation highly volatile. In fact, reports suggest Pakistan has deliberately delegated launch authority down the chain of command, so that in the fog of war, a tactical nuclear weapon can be fired quickly without waiting for the top generals. Taken together, these policies mean Pakistan has set the threshold for nuclear use very low, far lower than any other nuclear state. Every military crisis or skirmish with India brings the specter of an atomic response, and experts say this increases the risk of miscalculation or an accidental escalation into nuclear conflict. What makes Pakistan's situation especially worrying, however, is the domestic security environment. Pakistan is not a stable, homogeneous society. For decades it has battled a severe insurgency from multiple extremist groups, from the Taliban and Al-Qaeda to Lashkar-e-Taiba and others. U.S. intelligence and foreign analysts have long pointed out what a dangerous mix this creates. After the Taliban took over Afghanistan in 2021, some analysts at Brookings and other think tanks openly worried that jihadi fighters in Pakistan, inspired by that victory, might even try to seize power in Pakistan. If that ever happened, imagine a scenario where militants storm nuclear storage sites. The consequences could be catastrophic. Former President Obama famously said the worst threat was the possibility of a terrorist organization obtaining a nuclear weapon. Well, Pakistan is the one country that has nuclear weapons and a significant terrorist network of its own. Officially, Pakistani leaders always claim their arsenal is 100% secure. They talk about layers of custody and trained guards, but foreign experts remain skeptical. Consider this. Thousands of people in Pakistan reportedly have at least some access to nuclear facilities or information, possibly on the order of 70,000 across the military and nuclear labs. That means every bomb has many human touchpoints: scientists, soldiers, engineers, guards, and any one insider could be a vulnerability if extremist sympathies crept in. We've even seen terrorists successfully attack Pakistan's top military headquarters, 2009, and a naval airbase, 2011. While those strikes didn't directly hit nuclear sites, they revealed that extremists can breach highly secure military zones. In a similar vein, Pakistan's security forces have suffered bombings and attacks for years. The fear is that if militants ever tried something brazen, like breaking into a nuclear depot or capturing a mobile missile launcher, Pakistan's ability to stop them would be uncertain. There's a chilling quote from an analyst in 2001 warning that if Pakistan ever plunged into political turmoil, nuclear weapons and the means to make them could fall into the hands of a government hostile to the United States and its allies, meaning essentially extremists or a rogue military faction. Islamabad's leaders say never, they will hold the keys, but outside experts note these assurances are untested and essentially unverifiable. On top of that, Pakistan's nuclear facilities are not covered by any international safety net. Unlike many countries, Pakistan does not subject its military reactors or warhead stockpiles to outside inspection. Its civilian reactors are under a bit more scrutiny. Pakistan is a party to the International Atomic Energy Agency's rules on civilian power plants. But the plutonium reactors at Kushab or the secret enrichment sites are strictly off-limits. U.S. and global nuclear experts repeatedly point out that any incident or accident at these sites would be hidden from the world. In 2008, after rumors of an incident at the Kushab complex, a Carnegie Endowment scholar noted that Pakistan's civilian side has joined safety conventions, but none of those apply to its military program. So in many respects we are in the dark. In other words, we only know what satellites and intelligence leaks tell us. If a fire or critical failure happened in one of Pakistan's weapons labs, the world might never find out, and Pakistani citizens themselves might be at great risk without knowing it. There's one more aspect that underlines how Pakistan's nuclear stance is seen as reckless. How openly its leaders talk about using the weapons. In 2016, Pakistan's Defense Minister Khawaja Asif publicly declared that Pakistan hadn't kept its bombs, just as showpieces, and warned that, if our safety is threatened, we will annihilate the aggressor. A few years later, another Pakistani official reminded the world not to forget that Pakistan has an atom bomb. Our nuclear status is not meant to remain silent. Just this year, a senior aide said Pakistan's missiles were ready to strike Indian cities if provoked. This barrage of threats isn't carelessness or war talk by accident. Analysts call it a deliberate strategy. One commentary on Pakistan's approach noted that this kind of rhetoric amounts to a doctrine of nuclear blackmail. Pakistan carries out its regional games from the shadows of proxies and border clashes, all the while making it clear that any serious retaliation risks a nuclear strike. That's a posture that heightens tension everywhere. It means even a limited conflict has a constant nuclear hazard hanging over it, which experts say is an intolerable gamble. We've gone through the main concerns. Pakistan's bomb program expanded in secret. Its chief scientist set up a worldwide smuggling ring. Its nuclear doctrine encourages first use. It has trouble with extremist violence at home, and it wraps everything in aggressive threats and tight secrecy. By many measures, that checklist is what you'd call irresponsible. Pakistan's leaders argue they're simply deterring India and securing their sovereignty. But critics point out, if you need hundreds of warheads and dramatic threats to deter a neighbor, your approach is inherently unstable. Given all the evidence, from leaked intelligence to academic studies, the international community remains deeply uneasy. And that's why we warn the global community with complete seriousness and responsibility. Pakistan, in its current political and ideological state, is unfit to possess nuclear weapons. This is not just a regional issue between India and Pakistan. This is a global threat. An unstable, extremist grooming, military-dominated state that lacks transparency, houses terrorists, allows nuclear black marketing, and keeps its nuclear launch thresholds dangerously low, must not be allowed to sit on a growing pile of atomic warheads. If the world can rally together to impose sanctions on rogue regimes, to denuclearize dangerous territories, and to stop weapons of mass destruction from spreading, then why is Pakistan still exempt from full international scrutiny? Why is a state with such a documented record of proliferation, terrorism links, and nuclear brinkmanship still not held accountable? We call upon the United Nations, the IAEA, the US, EU, and major powers including Russia and China, to collectively move toward enforcing strict nuclear disarmament measures on Pakistan. Not out of enmity, but out of urgent need for global security. Because the next nuclear crisis might not come from a superpower, but from a failed state whose ideology, instability, and irresponsibility have already shaken the world too many times. The world cannot afford to wait any longer. Friends, watch this report again for more in-depth understandings, share it widely, and help amplify this warning. Because the truth is, peace cannot survive under the shadow of irresponsible nuclear power. This was a ground report from our Global Security Investigation Desk. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Our thoughtful viewers, we work hard to bring important issues and topics in crisp and time-saving manner before you. So please like, share and subscribe and motivate our team, and also comment your views on this important topic. Please visit our website VOPGLOBAL.org and raise your voice. Also associate with us by downloading your volunteer press card available on our website and share your views and news. Team, Digital Media, International Security Desk, Voice of the People International.